well, I want to go knock on the door, and I have a good feeling somebody's in this house. And somebody was in the house. And you know who that somebody was in the house? The girl that tried to pin the baby on him was in the house with the baby. I don't want you. Fuck your dog too. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I will be doing a story time. I have not done a story time like in just never, and so I just decided that I want to do a story time. So today's story time, it will be about when I caught the baby mama in our house. So I will be changing a couple names because I don't want I'm just gonna be changing a couple names or whatever. So hopefully that I hope that you guys enjoy the story time. So yeah, let's just get right into it. Okay, so let me get comfortable. Yeah, so okay. Wow. This happened recently or whatever. So bear with me. So I was dating this guy, and we would just call him Billy or something. I don't fucking know. So I was dating Billy for, now would be 4 months. Yeah, at the time it was 4 months. I was dating Billy for 4 months. And he seemed like he was legit. I asked him questions when we first started talking. He would ask me questions like, "Are you crazy?" Like blah blah blah, all this little stuff, and I would ask him the same questions back in return, right? Well, he would just tell me things like he was an E6 and the military or whatever, because I'm trying to like I'm trying not to give out too many details, so that's the reason why it's like I'm just being so vague about everything. So he was like he's an E6 in the military. So I was like, okay. So I just wanted to see if he was really legit. So I ended up going on Global to try to find him or whatever, because I was in the military around that time. So I went on Global to try to find him, and I was like, I just want to see if he's legit. Like, so everything came up to what he was saying. So I told him, I was like, yeah, I was like, I Facebook stalked you. I stalked you on Global. And he was like, really? And he was like, so you didn't really believe me? I was like, nowadays you just can't be too careful. So fast forward to that, he ended up, we ended up seeing each other. Like the first time he ever came over, he was like, yeah, I can come over or whatever. And I said, well, you said you was gonna come over. So he ended up coming over, and basically we just, the whole time we were basically in the same state of California. We just was around each other, and that lasted for like 2 weeks and before he left. So during that time, he basically, we would stand, I wouldn't necessarily say stand together or like whatever, but he was just like, you know how like that thing that like a guy come over or whatever like that, and then like they come over a couple times and then they start spending the night, and then the next thing you know, they basically just be there all the time. So that's basically how that was. And so eventually I was like, you know what, you could just stay here. Like, I don't care, because like I said, at the time he was getting out the military, I was still in the military, but I was in the process of getting out the military too. So that's basically how we started talking. It was like one of those things. So we hit it off really good, and we hit it off really fast. And I was being more realistic, because I was telling him, okay, maybe we should just slow down, because he was talking about like marriage and kids and all this little stuff. And I was like, pump your brakes, sir. We only been talking for like 3 weeks. Like, that's too soon. But I get it, because at first I was like, you know what, well, life is too short or whatever like that. But at the same time, I don't want to like move foolishly. And we both are transitioning out the military, and we both are veterans. We were both about to be veterans. And so I was like, well, I don't want to do anything stupid. So that's basically how that went. So after that, we started talking on the phone more. Like, we would talk on the phone, we would FaceTime like 4 and 5 hours. So I'm just like, okay, fine. Like, wow, like, this is crazy because I've never really done that before. So basically after all that stuff started happening, I just I noticed a little bit of changes, and I noticed like a little bit of red flags. It's like I caught half, like, it's like, you know how you see the signs? It's like God is like, I'm sending you all these signs. Listen to me. Wake up. And I was just like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, I just kind of sort of ignore. Basically, I wouldn't necessarily say, like, I would just say, whatever, whatever. But at the same time, I was like letting it pass a little bit because of him. Because I gave him the benefit of the doubt. Because that's basically how I am, as like, I just give people the benefit of the doubt or whatever. So the more we got close and the more we talked, like, I told him some personal things about me, he told me some personal things about him. Like, every time when he called me or whatever, I was always there. Like, even though I was dealing with my own personal stuff, trying to transition out the military, he would basically just call me and like, oh, I got this class, because he was already going to school or whatever. Because if people really know how the military works, like, you could take like 60 days of leave or whatever, and you can basically be out or whatever, but your discharge date is not going to be the date until, like, it's really weird. So that's a whole nother story. So yeah. So anyway, so after that happened, everything, like, basically, you know how, like, when shit gets real, like, it exposes people, and you're just like, oh wow, like, I didn't know that this person was gonna be like this or whatever, like that, or I just didn't really know. So he started to, like, just change a little bit, and I started to change a little bit, I guess, because I'm like, well, this is really me. And, you know, because some people put up facades so much to where they come off as this other person, and I'm just like, I'm just not cool with that, because I go off vibes and I go off energy, and if your energy is negative or your vibe is not clicking with my vibe, we're not going in the same wavelength, then it's whatever. So it's like purposes for me. So basically, when shit got real, is when I came home. Like, well, when he came home, he got his apartment, everything was good to go. So when I came home, because we stayed so we stay like really close, but not close. Okay, so if you guys know where San Diego is and 29 Palms is, oh, that's spit, I'm sorry. So you know what San Diego is and 29 Palms is like 3 hours. So that's basically the distance that me and him stay now. So when I came home, we was talking, but then we start talking less and less, and I was like, what's going on? Like, why are we talking less and less every single day? And he was like, because it's, you know, I'm dealing with school. And I'm like, but I know that you was dealing with school, and I was helping you dealing with school. Like, I would talk to you, I would comfort you, I would speak life into you, tell you everything's gonna be okay. Like, so I don't understand. So I was like, I thought that the goal would be to move forward. So I should have known. It was like little red flags. I should have known that something was up, because randomly after blue, he was like, I think I should tell you I'm having second thoughts. And I was like, wait, what? I said, where did this come from? So I'm like kind of freaking out. I'm like, what is going on? And just talk to me. Like, and it was just so crazy, because like he went the whole day, like, basically he texts what he said, he texts what he had to say, and then like he went the rest of the day without talking to me. And he wouldn't answer his phone, like he wouldn't respond back to my text messages. And yeah, fuck boy move. So I was just like, are you serious? Like, really? Are you really serious? So I just like, you know what, whatever. So eventually we talked about the situation, and he tried to say that like he was just some bullshit. He fed me bullshit, and I was like, whatever. So I was like, okay, that's a little red flag. So I started to push myself back a little bit, but eventually I liked him. So I was like, I'm trying to see if this gonna work. And so after that happened, he he started acting really weird because he went to go see his friend. Now, mind you, this is where the kicker comes in. So I know you probably be like, "Oh my God, you still with him? Like you were still talking to him like after?" Like, yeah, cause females, we just, I don't know, cause I'm a Southern woman. So after that, he started. He went to go see one of his friends, and he was dating this girl, or he was dating this girl. I don't know what type of relationship they had, if they really had a relationship, if it was more like sexual, or if it was more like, like, I don't know. And she basically, to make a long story short, she basically tried to pin a baby on him because she got pregnant. And I was like, what? And I said, she really did that to you? And I was like, oh my God, because I'm like, oh my God, like that's crazy. So after all of that, and I was like, he asked me, did I feel comfortable with him going to go see her? And I was like, well, why would you want to go see her? Like, that's kind of like crazy. Like, if somebody tried to pin a baby on me, if I was you, I wouldn't have anything to do with them if I know for a full fact the baby is not mine. So he was like, no, I gave her my word. I like keeping my word or whatever like that. So he went down there. He saw the girl. He was talking shit about her. Like, oh, she's this, she's that. Because, guys love talking shit about the female or whatever like that. So I was just like, okay, whatever. So he was talking like really bad about her. And he was just like, I could tell that she wants me to fill that void because her baby daddy's not there, blah, 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 and all this sort of stuff. So I'm like, okay, like, so he would send me like pictures, like she would send, every time she sent him a video or pictures of the baby, I would be like, okay, and he would send them to me, and I was like, oh, the little baby's so cute, because he was so cute. He really is a adorable baby. And I was like, oh, okay. So at the time I didn't really know what to do, because I'm like, why is she sending you pictures of this baby if it's not yours? Like, so after that happened, after all that nonsense happened or whatever, we got a little bit more close. We got a little bit more intimate. We start telling each other really, like, basically like our deepest, darkest secrets. And so after that happened, I ended up, just kind of like just trying to figure him out some more. He was trying to figure me out some more. And then after all that, he was like, he was just like up and down. Like, he was just so up and down. It's like, he was like, one minute he'll tell me like, oh, like, I think that we should slow down. And I would agree with that. I was like, okay, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. I don't want to rush into anything. Then it went from that to, like, I don't know if I want a relationship. And then it went from that to, I don't think that I need to be in a relationship, to I think you should fall back, to, oh, I can't wait till you come down here and we're gonna do all this stuff together. And he was like, oh, we're gonna go see Incredibles 2. And I waited 10 plus years to see what powers little Jack had. And so of course that meant a lot to me, because I'm like, I really want to go see this movie. So when I got to go see him, when I finally went to go see him, because he kind of was like, oh, you need to come around this time, like, come on, just come down here. And I was like, why are you so pressed for me to come down here? Like, why can't I just wait? Like, it don't have to be a rush. So I feel like, I'm like, why are you trying to rush me to come down here? I was like, are you, like, what are you doing? So eventually, when I first got down there, everything was kind of like awkward. It was so weird. Like, the vibe was off. I felt uncomfortable. I was like, what is going on? So then eventually I started to line up a little bit. And then towards the end, I went down on a Wednesday, and I was supposed to stay a week, so I was supposed to leave next Wednesday. But like Monday night, he was talking to me, and he was like, oh, like, what's going on with you, or whatever like that. Like, talk to me, I care about you. Like, I wouldn't have this conversation if I didn't care about you. He was like, what's going on? Like, why you seem like you're always sad? Because mind you, at the time when I was dealing with all my stuff, my aunt my great aunt just died, and I didn't grieve for her. I couldn't grieve for her because I was dealing with trying to get out the military, so I had so much stuff going on, so I was really, really stressed out. And then my dog died, and it was just so terrible because that was my baby. And so like it was just so much stuff going on, and then the fact that I had to move and, you know, transition from the military, that's very hard. And so I was still in a grieving stage. So that's where I was in my life. So he was like, so he tried to talk to me, and I was like, no, because I'm the type of person, like, if I open up to you and then you shut me out, I'm not gonna try to open up to you again. Like, and I told him that. I was like, I don't feel comfortable opening up to you anymore. So he was like, okay, I understand, but I really care about you. He was like, I don't think that it's fair for you to come down here and you're not telling me what's wrong with you, especially if I've done something to you. So I was like, understandable. So then, like, Tuesday, we stayed up till like 6 o'clock in the morning just talking about like just random stuff. It was like so I basically just told him how I felt about everything. I was like, you know, I care about you, I like you, I just feel like you changed and everything. And I just basically told him how I really felt. So he was like, well, I understand or whatever. And so basically we talked about it. And then eventually I ended up staying 2 extra days because of that. And then he just started acting weird again. So it was just like, he just started acting weird. Like, everything was weird. Like, he would change. Like, so we was about to go to the gym, and he was changing in a closet. And I was like, Billy, like, why are you changing? Like, what is wrong with you? I was like, why are you in the closet changing? And he was like, because the circumstances have changed, and out of respect. And I was like, what? Like, out of respect where? Like, when? Like, were you like? And I was just so confused. So I'm just like, okay, now you're starting to act weird again. And so I'm just like, what is going on with you? So after I got pissed, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of pissed off. And I ended up, so we ended up going to the gym. So then he was like, well, I'm gonna try to get rid of, like, I'm trying to like keep my phone off for 12 hours to see if I can go without using my phone or whatever. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I was going home the next day, and mind you, this drive was 3 hours. So I was like, so I was like, okay, whatever. So I got up that morning. He was kind of moving funny. Like, you can tell when somebody just wants you out of their presence or whatever. So I was like, what's going on? And then he got out the bed and he went and got on the couch, and I'm like, what are you doing? And he was like, oh, I'm just waiting, like, I'm about to go use the bathroom. I said, the bathroom is in there. Like, I'm not even in the bathroom. So after that, he was like, oh yeah, I'm just reminding you that my phone is going to be off until 7. I was like, I almost said his name. I almost said his real name. I was like, what is wrong with you? I said, why would you turn your phone off at 7 when you know for a fact I'm leaving, I'm driving? I was like, you don't want to make sure I got home safely? So he was like, so he had this other little phone or whatever that I guess you could connect to Wi-Fi, and I don't know. So he ended up calling me. No, he ended up texting me the time or whatever. And he was telling me about some other crazy stuff. And he was asking me how my drive was. So basically we had like this long little thing. It was like a little argument about just stupid stuff. Like, and I just basically told him how I felt, because I was like, I felt some type of way because of you. And I was like, and you made me feel some type of way. So then after that, he basically was like, well, I know that you was going to get home safely and all this little stuff, and that's the reason why I wasn't really worried, but I had my other phone on for you because I told you I was going to keep it on for you. And I'm just like, fuck boy. That's basically the only thing I kept thinking in my head. I'm like, fuck boy. So after that, I was like, okay, whatever. So we kind of was like talking a little bit. So then after a while, so this is where it gets really, really juicy, this part. So I basically sent him this text message, and I was like, you know what? I was like, I hope that you succeed in everything that you want. Okay, basically fast forward back. So he sent me this list of goals. And usually, since we're in the military, like, if you're in the military and if you're like 28 or 29 plus or whatever, and you don't have no kids, it's like, what or whatever, because like we'll always joke about it. Like, you sure you ain't got no kids out there? So that's basically what I would do to him. So when he sent me this list, it was like be a millionaire, be like a great father, blah blah blah, and all this little stuff. And then he was like, rest in peace and all that. So I was like, oh, so you're a father? And he was just saying like little crazy stuff. Like his answers wasn't adding up. And he was like, well, he was like, not that I know of, because he would say that all the time too. And he was like, not that I know of. He was like, if it was, it would be a blessing. My mom would be happy and blah blah blah. And I was just like, well, you would be a liar. And then so he got mad because he said that I picked that out of the whole list or whatever like that. So I was like, you know what, I want you to succeed in life. And I was like, I'm not gonna stand in your way. And I was like, I don't want to be a distraction to you. And I was like, good night. And so then like, I think like I didn't talk to him in 2 days. So then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna hit him up. And I was like, because we haven't talked in like 2 days. Why this man changed his number? He changed his number on me. I was like, are you serious? So I ended up, I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, this is crazy. So I ended up emailing him, because I had his email address, because I forgot that he had emailed me something. And so I emailed him, and I was like, what are you doing? And then I was like, I basically was like, what's going on with your phone or whatever? Like, did you change your number? Like, what did I do or what did I say? Like, all this little stuff, because I'm like freaking out now, because I'm like, I'm going crazy. So basically, please do not do this at home or whatever. So I drove to go see him. I went to go see him. I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm going to go see this man, because I want to go see if everything's okay or whatever. And usually I'll like be against stuff like that, but I was like, no. I was like, because something's going on or whatever. Like, something's going on. And so I was like, I want to know. So I went to go see him, and I took my cousin with me, and we went to his house. And my cousin was like, oh, let me, like, I just want to knock on the door, just see if somebody's in. And I was like, no, his car's not here, so he's not here. But luckily, she was like, well, I want to go knock on the door, and I have a good feeling somebody's in his house. And somebody was in the house. And you know who that somebody was in the house? The girl that tried to pin the baby on him was in the house with the baby. So I'm like, I wasn't even mad at her. I realized I should have asked her more questions, but then I'm like, what's the point of asking her? But women tend to really don't lie, especially if it's like, you know, like dealing with that sort of situation. Because if it was the other way around, and if somebody was to ask me, I'll tell them everything, like, oh, what you need to know. Because at the end of the day, like, if he's a liar, he's a liar. Like, at the end of the day, like, I don't like liars. So after that happened, she was like, oh, he's at the gym. So I knew a gym, because I was down there, and we would go to the gym together. So I went to the gym. I was like, he's either at 2 places. I said, he's either at Walmart or he's at the gym. So I was like, you know what, let's go to Walmart. Went to Walmart, and then we came back, and that's when we found the girl in the house, and then we went to the gym. So if I knew she was gonna call him and tell him all this little stuff, I just would have like questioned her. I was gonna stay in the house, but I was like, you know what, my issue is not with her, it's with him. I was like, he's the one, she don't owe me anything, like, so I want to go to him. So she ended up calling him. He already knew, he had a feeling. So I wish that I could have got like the video or whatever. So I'm sitting outside of the gym for like an hour and a half. So he comes out, but the way he came out like speed walking. And so before that, I told my cousin, I said, if he go to this car, I said, and if he gets in his car, he's not gonna talk to me. I said, so I have to like hurry up and get out the car. So when I saw him, I was like, oh, that's him. I jumped out the car so fast. I ran up to him, and I was like, hey. And he was like, he stopped. He took a step back. He was like, wow. He was like, what are you doing here? He was like, what are you doing here? And I was like, hey. I said, I just want to talk to you. And he's like, wow, like, what are you doing here? And he basically was saying like all this bullshit, like, oh, I don't know why you're here. And I was like, well, because I was here like a week ago, not even a week ago, and you got somebody else in the house. And he was like, oh, she already told me. I almost said her name, her real name, but he was like, oh, she already told me that you were here and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, so what's going on with that? So he was like, no, and blah blah blah. And he was like he was just saying like all this bullshit. And I just was like, so I was asking questions. I was like, well, did you ever care about me? Like, did you, I said, and he was like, yeah, I still care about you, your well-being and whatever. I said, did you mean all that stuff that you was saying in California when we was there? He was like, yeah, I mean all that or whatever like that. He was like, but then, you know, things change, circumstances changed. And I was like, so you just gonna cut everybody out your life? He said, I cut everybody out my life. I even told my other friends, like, don't contact me, like, whatever. And I was just like, he was just acting like so nonchalant about everything. And he was like, so I started asking him questions. I was like, well, when you was down here, like, were you having sex with somebody else? He was like, oh, here and there. And I was like, are you serious? And so then he was like, yeah. And he was like, I said, why didn't you tell me? He was like, because that's none of your business. I was like, that is my business, when, especially when you was, you know, doing the same thing with me. And he was like, well, I don't care about if you was having sex with somebody. I said, says the person, and he also said that he was like, says the person who I didn't answer his phone call one night, and he was about to come to my house. He told me that. He was like, I was about to come to your house. So I was like, are you serious? And then like after that, he was like, what you doing? I'm making a video, or YouTube video. I said I'm making a YouTube video. I was disappointed because of the fact that like he tried to say that I didn't add value in his life. And I was like, how did I not add value in your life when I let you stay in my house? Like, I helped you emotionally, financially, and everything, and you trying to say that I never brought you any value in your life. I was basically like your diary, because like whatever you wanted, whatever secrets that you wanted to tell, you told me. So it was kind of like a slap in the face when he said that. And it kind of hurt my feelings a little bit, because I was like, how do you go from talking to somebody every single day to not talking to them at all? And I was like, I feel like I lost my best friend, because I told you some intimate details about myself, and I never told anybody else. I was like, not even my best friends, they don't even know. So after I got home, I checked my email, because something kept telling me check my email. So I checked my email or whatever, and he emailed me, and he was like, the day that I changed my number, I thought about suicide. And he was like, and then something spoke to me and told me to change my number and just cut everybody off. And mind you, I don't play around with suicide. Suicide is real, and I don't joke around with it or whatever. And it's a person who have some mental issues, like suffer from anxiety and depression. I don't play around with suicide. So I felt like, to me personally, knowing the person that he was and stuff like that, because I feel like maybe he was only doing that because he was probably doing that because he wanted me to be like, oh, okay, well, oh, I'm so sorry or whatever like that. And I am like, whatever demons that he have, I hope that he gets rid of them and he pray about it and he does find God, and I really hope that happens for him. But at the same time, I felt like he still wasn't being genuine about anything, because from my understanding, if this baby was not yours, why did you go see her in the first place? And then why would you allow her to come to your home if the baby wasn't yours? So I felt like it was a lot of he wasn't being honest about like a lot of stuff that he was saying. And it kind of like made me to believe like, yo, you really don't believe in, like, what are you doing? So every time I would ask him about the baby, he was like, no, the baby's not mine. The baby's not mine. The baby's not mine. And I was like, okay. So it just, this whole ordeal, basically, it just reminded me of like, you have to be mindful of who you who comes into your life, and if they're going to add value to your life, and if they're going to be there for a lesson or a reason. And if he would have came to me, because obviously the baby is like maybe not even one, I don't even know, a couple months or whatever. But if he would have came to me and said, hey, I just found out this baby was mine, and I still want to work out something with you, but I want to be in this child's life, I would have been like, oh, that's so, like, okay, we could have worked something out, because at the end of the day, the baby was there before me. And if that's really your baby, I don't want you, and if you don't want nothing to do with your baby, I don't want nothing to do with you, if that was really your baby, if that's really your kid. So um that's the reason why. So it was just like a lot of stuff that was going on around that time, and it was so stressful, and I'm still stressed out about the whole situation because it's so fresh. It's really so fresh about, you know. So I just feel like things should have been differently. I wish the moral of this story is just be mindful of the company that you keep, and just be mindful of the people that you have in your life, because sometimes people can have this facade to be like this great person that can be there for you, and just because like you care about somebody and you love somebody doesn't necessarily mean that they're right for you. And the way I felt about him, I felt like finally I found somebody who could understand me, and I could understand them, and we can work through some things or whatever. But that wasn't the case, and it just kind of made me open up my eyes to like a lot of things, because I saw the red flags, but yet I ignored them because it was him. So, and women, and us as women, we tend to look over things because we might like a guy so much, and the fact that like we're so quick to just give our all, and men, as opposed to men, they're just like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, so for him to have did what he did and said what he said and stuff like that, and acted the way he acted, it's just made me seem like this just negative person. And I'm like, I don't need that in my life. And I still care. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I still care because I'm a woman, and I still care. So I'll be lying if I say I didn't care. So I haven't responded back to the email. I haven't responded back because I was gonna talk to my mom about it and get some clarification on, because she's older, she's wise, she's been through some stuff herself probably, and so I just wanted to see her feedback. And sometimes it's good to get advice from some of your friends, but it's not good to get advice from everybody, because they can give you the wrong advice and they can cloud your judgment. So just stay true to yourself, and just what to believe, because everybody always have an opinion, but that doesn't necessarily mean that their opinion is right. So it hurts. I'm not gonna lie, it hurts because I had to find out that way. And he also said, you wasn't supposed to see her like ever. And I was like, wow, okay. And I said, yeah. And I said, so I had to pop up on you to respond back to my email. And when you responded back, you really didn't respond back to nothing that I said. And he was like, well, I just contact you when I'm ready. And I was like, it don't work that way, sweetheart. Like, I don't know what world you're living in, but it doesn't work that way. So it's it's kind of crazy. The whole situation was kind of crazy. So it's just, now I'm just focused on me. I'm not worried about the situation as much as I was. I'm still disappointed because he let me down, and I was just like, he let me down. And I thought he was a great person, but apparently he wasn't. He really wasn't. And like, you just got to move forward. It hurts. I'm not gonna lie, it hurts, but you gotta move forward. And you gotta be strong, and you gotta love yourself. And so I love myself too much to allow myself to be down and be depressed and stuff like that. So I just washed my hands with it, and I was like, I'm done. And I read this tweet, and I'm gonna leave you guys with this. I read this tweet that says, and this is for all women or whatever. I believe all women should experience this, but it basically said, I want black women to experience love that doesn't involve suffering first and being glorified later. And when I say I felt that, I was like, wow, that yes, yes. yes, girl, like I understand, because that's how I feel. I want black women to experience love without being like without suffering first, because that's basically how it starts off. Like, oh, you in a honeymoon phase for like a little bit, and then the next thing you know it's suffering. Then now it's like, oh, okay, well, we're gonna fight through all of that. And I'm like, what? Why I have to be like that? So yeah, go hang out with my family now and just be around people that I love and love me. So I hope that you guys have a blessed and great Labor Day weekend, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.